right now from the Financial Center where they say life starts here.
Right.
I've got my new best friend, Mr. Chris Poland, in with me, and we are live here at Mary Rig for Community Day. Thank you for joining me
Well,
today,
thank you,
Chris.
Harold. Appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about Financial Center. We know right now with the state of the economics in the country, financial literacy is huge.
Oh,
People
yeah.
just don't know about money, is what I'm figuring
Yeah,
out.
you're absolutely right. Yeah. It's the biggest thing that we do right now. It's one of the things that we push at the credit union to teach you how to make a budget, how to save, and why there's different ways to save and how to make more of your own money. Not just having a bank account. We're here for that. Savings, checking, debit cards, all of those things that we do. But we want to teach you how to save, how to get on a budget, how to stretch those dollars. Because we always talk about we don't make enough money, but there are lots of entertainers and lots of sports figures that make millions that still end
And
up
still broke.
Yeah, still broke.
And we hear the tragedy of the athletes. And I tell people all this stuff all the time. You don't know how to do what you don't know.
Right.
So the worst thing in the world can be a guy that's totally broke, and then they hand you $25 million.
Right.
There's a wreck waiting to happen.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of, sitting down and looking at what your expenses are and see how many times we call them leaks. How many times, like maybe you go to Starbucks or you go to the convenience store for that dollar pop.
You've been talking to Nikki.
And you don't remember.
you and that daggone Nikki got me jacked up. I told Nikki I can't even go buy a candy bar without
That's
thinking about her telling me how I'm spending my money.
But those are the things, like, we don't really add those things up because we're like, oh, it was just $1. It was just a couple of dollars. Well, at the end of the month, that could be $30 or $40. Well, there's your water bill, or there's diapers for your kids, or there's groceries, any of those type of things like that.
There's the start of your saving investment.
Right. Yeah. Or put that money aside, right? Put in your savings for that emergency fund, because it always affects your mental health. Like if you have a flat tire or something and you're like, I don't have the money to get a new tire. But if you saved a little bit of money, how much better for your mental health would you be? Less stress, less anxiety, because you had a little bit of money to
I'm glad
cover
you're
that.
mentioning this, because your finances, it kind of spreads and permeates itself through everything in your life.
Yeah.
Like you say, stress, anxiety,
Yeah.
your health, everything is tied to it. Why don't we pay as much attention to finances as we do these other things in life?
Yeah, we have become a society or a nation of I want it now. Just like your cell phone. The latest cell phone comes out. There's nothing wrong with your old one, but everybody's got to have the latest, greatest, newest one.
I just got duped 2 weeks ago. And then I went and paid my bill yesterday, and he said, do you want to activate that phone you just got rid of back on the second line?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why did I get a new phone?
That's right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
as you mentioned,
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Like I always talk about, like in some of our classes, like the old days of having layaway at Kmart. You worked for that. You earned. You were really responsible for that. You found a way to save your money so you could get that out of layaway early. Now we just spend, and those are the things that we like to teach how to get started. And if you don't have savings, we have lots of ways to do it. You can start small. Don't think you have to start big. If you only start with $5, then start with $5.
now what do you think? Because what I'm listening to really is just it's almost dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Our financial practices
Yeah.
are dysfunctional. Do you think we need to start as a family, or should the
Oh, yes.
breadwinner go and learn and then try to come teach you? Just come in.
It needs to be a family, because if you have a plan, say it's you make the plan, but you don't tell your family,
They don't know.
they don't know. They still go out and
So
spend.
we're right back where we
and then you
started.
get mad at your family for not saving, but you didn't share that
Now we
information
got another
with them.
problem.
Right. Then you start a whole other problem. That's right. But one of the things that we do with the credit union, we have what's called a Save to Win. It's that you can start a certificate. It's a 12-month certificate. Right now it's paying 3% interest, and it does change. But it starts with $25. You can add $25 anytime you like. So you can save whatever you want. If you don't have $25 next week, you skip it and put it in the next week. That's what I love about this program. Because a lot of times when you're looking at a certificate, you have to have $500 up front. Well, if I don't have $500, I'm not going to do that. But
If you had $500 set aside, you probably wouldn't be
That's
bad
right.
with your
That's right.
finances.
You got it. Yeah. So that's a great way to get yourself started, especially when you're somebody like, oh, I don't know how to save. Here's a great way to get started on a small scale and work your way up to that. and then realize as you're going along there
Now,
what you can do.
Okay, we got all that out the way. We know we need financial training as a family. We've got a new world of financial literacy that we need to embark upon, which is cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing about it? Because at first it was a fad.
Right. But cryptocurrency.
Now it's looking like it's when you start seeing the little machines up in the store talking about
the biggest
ATM
thing
for Bitcoin.
about Bitcoin is it's not regulated. So like if you lose your money, it's gone.
But
so if you have a lot, and then nobody like merchants, as far as merchandise, buying and things like, nobody accepts that like they do Visa, MasterCard, cash, your debit cards, those kind of things. So it's really not very liquid. It's not very easy. And the biggest thing for me is that if it crashes, you lose it all.
Let me ask you this.
And
I know this is tough. I feel your pain.
Oh, yeah.
Because I first started talking about Bitcoin back in like 2016 on the Jumbo Love Show. And most of my friends and people thought I was out of my mind. And 8 years later, here we go. Back then, I was talking about Bitcoin, and it was about $1,700 for a Bitcoin. And now, today, I believe $65,000. Yeah. So there have been some people who have made some advantages off of it. If you had to give some advice, what would that be based on something that's here to stay? Because it doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, your biggest thing, it's those type of things like that is just like playing the stock market. You got to watch
the risk versus the dare.
You got it. You got to watch the trends. You got to watch as the economy changes to make sure that those things are still in your favor and not going in the opposite direction. And if you see those shifts and changes, it's just like with the stock market. As things start to change, you've got to adjust to that. And if you're not the type of person that wants to monitor that, or a quick person to adjust, you're like, oh, let me think about it. I got to do some other things. It's probably going to crash and fall, and you're going to lose before you like, oh, I should have done something.
I didn't mean to bring that in. I know one thing. It is tragic to the traditional financial people. Yeah. And these younger people seem to be, they don't even care. Yeah. This is our new financial system.
Right. And the only thing that really like concerns me about those is, especially when we're talking finances and we're talking to people that don't have savings, like we talk about less than 45% of America has any savings account. That's almost half.
Well, let me put out this promo. If you want to find more about financial literacy, come over here today and please find Chris Poland with Financial Center, or get with Nikki over here at Mary Rig. I'm telling you, if you want to get your finances together, come. If you're flaking with your money, don't, because you don't want to hear what they're going to tell you to do to get yourself right. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate
and continue the great work the Financial Center is doing, trying to get our lives together, because we know financial literacy is just as important as all the other literacy that you partake in.
All right.
RadioNext.tv. We're going to come back and continue with all the